total water used, resulting in a saving of over 90,000 Singapore dollar per annum. If each house in Java and Madura had its own infiltration well, then the water deficit, which is around 53%, can come down to 37%. As of 2000, in Gansu province, rainwater tanks have been used for supplying drinking water to 1.97 million people. This has been replicated in 17 other provinces, where water is being provided to 15 million people, and approximately there are 5.6 million tanks. So what are the priority directions towards eco-efficient water infrastructure? Priority 1, the low-hanging fruits, is design in reducing distance of water infrastructure, development of new water sources, long-term investment programs in technology and design. Priority number 2, which is difficult but worth doing, is educate the people on sustainable consumption and eco-efficient water infrastructure. Integrated planning with other infrastructures such as land use planning and transport. Priority 3, tough with winners and losers, but should do. Application of ecological pricing and green budget and tax reform. Finally, I'd like to mention that eco-efficiency is the policy option to support sustainable development and MDGs. There is a need to restructure infrastructure and see the non-physical component of it. Government must lead to fill two gaps: time gap between short-term budgets and long-term benefits, and the price gap between market price and ecological price. Provide incentives for ecological efficient and sustainable innovators. Finally, I would like to take this opportunity to promote the website on eco-efficient water infrastructure development. We have the upcoming 3rd regional workshop on eco-efficient water infrastructure to be organized in UNCC from 23rd to 25th November. Regarding the frameworks and the guidelines, we can go to these buttons and these can be downloaded. Thank you.
Thank you very much for this very impressive presentation. And I think we quite learned a lot about the complexity of how to achieve eco-efficient water infrastructure development. And we learned also that it needs a very holistic, multi-fold approach, integrated approach on different levels. And what is also very important, it's an inclusive approach. And it doesn't take only one party to solve the problem. That means either the public or the private sector. It needs both of them with a public-private partnership. So in that sense, I would like to open the floor to comments and questions to the audience here and on the web. Yes, please.
Thank you very much. My name is Arif. I'm from Indonesia. Some of your topic about Indonesia is very interesting. You know, in Java, the people is, I think, maybe 50% of population in Indonesia live in Java. And my question is, how long the water system in Java can support the people for human being use and for the agriculture? Because now we have, especially in East Java, we have a deep groundwater for irrigation, for agriculture. And most of them, I think, use well in population in Java, still use well, except in a big city. They have infrastructure for drinking water. And also, we have problem also with the sewage, with the used water. Like in Jakarta, in Bangkok, we can use river as transportation. If you go to Jakarta, the river is black because the waste from household, from industry, they throw it as like big trash can. So, and the next question is how to teach the people, how to educate the people so people can save their planet. Thank you very much.
For Indonesia, that is what we are working on, the decentralized approach of wastewater treatment. For example, the Jokasu system. It targets around 6 to 8 people so that the wastewater is treated before release, and it is user friendly. So like we need to change the membranes around after 6 to 8 months, and it's not expensive also. So what we are doing is point source decentralized wastewater treatment. The nutrient load will decrease. The other option is also using rainwater harvesting, tapping it and sending it, diverting it to the infiltration tanks or the underground tanks, which can be reused. And this is not a new technique. It is going back to our past, and it existed around 2000 or 1500 years ago. And how to teach, educate the people, that is what we are working on. We are developing the guidelines for capacity training programs, capacity development, and educating the people. I don't know whether it answered your question, but I just gave a try to that.
The first question about how long can support the need of the water in Java, especially in Java, because the population is so dense over there. So if you have a number.
Sorry, I don't have that.
Thank you. Any more comments or questions from the audience?
Can I answer
yes, please.
Mr. Darren's one of the questions which he put down before? Like we have cases where wastewater reclamation is being used for paddy cultivation in Suwon City and Jeju, over around 45 hectares to 65 hectares. And the result shows that this decreases use of fertilizers by almost 50%, whereas the yield remains more or less the same, or some data showed that it has increased by 10%.
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, Peter King, please.
There's been quite a lot of discussion recently about payment for ecosystem services, and the example that's often given is the Catskill Mountains in New York, where farmers were basically paid to change their farming practices to protect the watershed, which obviated the need for a new water treatment facility. That example has been recently rubbished as not really having worked the way it was intended. Is there any evidence of a sort of upstream, downstream watershed compensation system based on payment for ecosystem services that actually works anywhere in the region?
We did not yet take up that topic on payment for environmental services, and I do not have an example here, but maybe I can come back to you on that.
Okay, thank you very much. Vanida, any comments from our online audience? It doesn't seem to be. So I thank all of you three. I think it was showing us that green and growth and also social, economical and environmental sustainable development can go hand in hand, but it needs quite a multifold holistic approach, and what it needs is also a partnership, maybe also innovative partnerships of the different stakeholders, and I think we have to have in mind that we are always looking to the human beings, so the